In 1735, Jonathan Wesley set sail for the colony of Georgia. He was an Anglican priest, and along the way on his journey, he met a group of other missionaries who were known as the Moravians. And at one point, there was a terrible storm that rose up, and it ripped the mainsail of the ship. The mast was threatened with breaking. The sailors were running and screaming and crying in fear, trying to address the problem that was at hand. And Jonathan Wesley looked out across the ship, and he saw this group of Moravian missionaries, men, women, children, having their worship service on the deck of the ship. Mind you, you know what a storm sort of looks like from movies, on a ship and the waves and everything, the pouring rain, and they were just singing. He noticed that they were unmoved by the circumstances around them. And he recorded in his journal a conversation that he had with one of the Moravian men later on. And in it, he questioned him, like, "Weren't you afraid?" And the man replied, said, "No, my lord, we were not." And he said, "Well, what about your women and your children? You know, weren't you afraid weren't they afraid?" And so it's written in the Old English, and he said, "No, my lord, we were not afraid. We are not afraid even to die." And it really shook Jonathan Wesley, and it really made him question his own faith. And it was really a thing that really sparked his faith journey and really became something that would eventually change his life. But the big point that I want to bring out today from church history is the fact that our community of gathering around other believers, that interaction actually sharpens and deepens our faith. When you get around other deep spiritual believers in your life, it will challenge you and inspire you and change you in many ways. And that's the good of being in the context of a church, is that when you're gathered with other saints, your faith oftentimes is encouraged and sharpened. The Bible tells us, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And so my encouragement is if you are a follower of Jesus and yet you are not plugged into a local faith community, get plugged into a church. Find a good and healthy church that's preaching the gospel, and get around other believers and get plugged in and see how it will change and shape your faith. So anyway, that's my encouragement for you today.